So make sure you're sitting on your sitting bones. We're going to start with a seated spine twist. Try to relax your legs. Make sure your shoulders are back over your rib cage, over your hips. We're taking our hands to the bit of the spine we want to move. So just place them over your heart and think about moving more here as best you can. So shoulders relaxed, legs relaxed. As you breathe out, lift up through your core and imagine you're lengthening up through the back of your head. And just get used to your breathing rhythm. When you're ready to breathe out, engage your core, keep the weight level, and let's see if we can just twist where the hands are. Try and get a little bit more movement in that area of your spine. And as you come back, breathing in. If you get to this point and you think, oh, I've got to breathe out, I'm not ready, just take a moment. So it doesn't matter if you take an extra breath, does it? Take a breath in. And as you breathe out again, thinking of moving here, lifting up through the core, relaxing the shoulders. Nice level shoulders, legs relaxed. Trying to get a little bit of movement through every joint. Rather than moving your spine fixed and just moving one part, try and get every little bit to do a little bit more movement. And back to the centre. We're going to come onto all fours. So the heel of the hand under the shoulder blade. Draw your shoulder blades together. Your eye line is where your fingertips are. So knees under hips, nicely lined up. Don't be too squashed up. Make sure you give yourself enough room for your body. And all we're going to do here is just tighten up through the core. So you've got 4 points on the floor. 2 hands, 2 knees. As you breathe out, lift up through your core, and as one arm floats away, feel that that shoulder blade is drawing down your back. Breathe in and place that hand back. So as you breathe out, lifting up through the core so that you can take that hand away. Engaging the core so that you've got more stability, so that there's not a big shift in weight as you move, but also thinking about what's happening with your shoulder blades. So try not to let go of your shoulder position. Get those shoulder blades in a good position, rib cage tucked in, nice long spine, so we're not collapsing or rounding through the back. As your arm floats, slide the shoulder blade down your back. Let's just do one more each side. Nice long arm. And when you come back, always coming back to good posture. So we're going to take a little bit of the first exercise and put it into the second position. So when we were doing our spine twist, we weren't really moving the arm, we were moving the spine, weren't we? So we were trying to get this bit to move rather than just reach with our arm. So when we come into thread needle, you're in that position, you're in that all fours position, you're still moving your heart, that part of your spine, but we're trying not to shift weight again. So we're going to put the hand on the floor opposite your heart, and rather than just moving the arm, we're going to twist the body. So this is kind of prep to start with, because you want to get your spine moving first. So you want to get your spine moving and then see if you can go a little bit further, which might help if you use your arm a little. What we don't want to do is just move your arm. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core, and a little rotation. So obviously this is a little bit harder than the seated spine, because in the seated spine position, you're sitting on your hips, so it's much harder to move them. Here, it's quite easy to forget that you're holding your hips. So nice long spine, and try to just twist through the spine. Try not to reach with your arms. Sometimes you see people doing it and they've rounded their back. Try and stay long, and then if you can rotate, you can reach with your arm a little bit to increase the stretch, but not at the expense of your positioning of your posture. So we rotate, and then maybe we reach a bit, but we've still got a nice long spine position. So you can, of course, we're just going this way, but you can, of course, with this exercise, turn out. And again, it's not about arching your back, it's not about trying to move your arm, it's about still trying to get that rotation through the spine, and then if you want to reach your arm. So that makes the exercise a little bit harder, but all we're focusing on today is that spinal movement. So just making sure you can get that movement, and it's not about your hips moving. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on today. This movement here, with a little bit more stress. So you've got to hold your shoulders in position, you've got to hold your hips in position. Okay, we're going to come down onto the floor now for the next bit. And all we're going to do here is work on tensing through the glutes. So to start with, tip the nose on the floor. We're going to put the toes together, the heels wide. When we do this, I don't want you to just lift your heels. I want you to start by squeezing around to the centre. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core, squeeze, 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 keep squeezing, and then see if you can rotate at the top of the thigh. And use that to bring the legs towards each other, and therefore the heels towards each other. So the movement isn't down here, the movement's right up here and then down into the thighs. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core, start squeezing and squeezing, engaging those glutes, rotating the thighs, and releasing off. Feel that go right down into the inner thigh. Nice and strong, get the legs long. And hold that squeeze if you can. And release off. And back onto all fours. So what we're going to try and do here is draw your leg, your thigh, up into your hip. So you're using the muscles at the top. So it's not a big lift up. We're not trying to move up here. We're trying to move in the joint. So see if you can get into a good position. Draw your shoulder blades together. Get your foot on the floor and just very gently using those glutes, those muscles at the top, draw that thigh bone into the hip. So you can see it just clears the floor. It's a very small movement. And get used to doing that on each side. So that control using the glutes will mean that you don't have to shift weight. You can start to draw up, really get those glutes to work. So as we breathe out, we're going to try and put it together with the next movement. So we're drawing up, and then we're sliding the leg away, and we're drawing back. Now, because we're taking some weight out of one of our 4 points, you have to engage your core and you have to make sure you've got good shoulder position, otherwise you find that your body will move. So draw your shoulder blades together, nice long spine, engage your core, draw the leg up into the hip and slide away. You can pause here, take a breath in. Small breath, see if we can hold the core, but you can re-engage to pull back. So when we do a small breath, you might let go of your core a little bit, that's fine, but you can re-engage, okay? So we're just using that so you don't have to hold your breath, and we're still stable as we change the position from out to in. So sliding, dragging back. If you've got long breath, you might be able to do it all one breath. If you need to pause, you're breathing out, breathe in here and breathe out to come back. So remember, you draw, try not to shift, engage your core, draw the knee off the floor, slide and return. And for those of you a little bit more advanced, you can slide the leg, and then we're pulling at the side to draw the leg out. Okay, now when we're doing this, we are very much keeping the hips still, so this is a bit harder. So if you're here and you're kind of shifting weight over, don't do the pull. Also, if you're thinking about your foot, you're not trying to get your foot out, you're trying to pull from the top of the leg. And that means you might not move as far, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, let's give those wrists a little bit of a rest. We're going to come now into the clam, so we're going to come onto one side. Knees in front, heels in line with the spine, tailbone pointing down towards those heels. So when we do this, we're relaxing the top leg, and what we're trying to do is twist your leg. So it's not really a lift, it looks like it, but we're twisting the leg. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core and twist that leg backwards. So the hip doesn't move, we're keeping the pelvis still, you're moving the leg in the hip joint. And allow it down. Twisting that leg. Now where you feel it around here, I want you to squeeze that, don't let it go. Take a breath in. And now as you breathe out, you're going to imagine you're pushing down, as if you're squashing something between your knees. You feel that a little bit more. So breath in, twist the leg, make sure you can feel it in the right place. Hold that contraction, take a breath in. As you breathe out, keep feeling that pushing down as though you're squashing something between your knees. You should really be able to feel that. And push down. Lovely. Come onto our back from there. Feet hip width apart. Nice level hips. You've got a little gap under your lower back. Shoulders are tucked under, chin tucked in. So the same as we did before, we're going to make sure we can engage our glutes. But we don't want to move the hips on this one. We literally are just making sure we've got a good squeeze of the glutes. Nice and slow. With the inside of the edge of the feet remaining planted and making sure the hips are level. So we don't want to tuck under at all. I want you to stay level as you do this. So take a breath as you release. As you breathe out, see now if you can lift your pelvic floor and your core. Squeeze your bottom. Keep the inside edge, the big toe side, pushed into the floor a little bit. Don't let your feet or knees roll out. Squeeze. And then we're going to hold that squeeze. Take another breath. You're going to push into your feet and you're going to lift straight up into a bridge. So when we do this, we really don't want to roll. This is not a rolling bridge. This is your ability to stay in neutral. So stay strong through the spine. So as you breathe in, relax. As you breathe out, lift the core, squeeze the bottom, push into the feet straight up. Keep some tension between your ribs and hips. And come back down. So pushing into the feet, really planting them through the floor, keeping the knees in, don't let the knees drop. So when you do this, really pay attention to whether you are tilting your pelvis. I want you to stay absolutely still, okay? Nice and straight through the body. Let's come on to the other side. We're going to do the clam on the other side. So remember, top leg is relaxed. You're pulling from here, you're twisting backwards. Get used to doing that. Make sure you've got nice movement. It doesn't matter if it's smaller, just make sure you're moving in the right place. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core, twist the leg backwards, feel that tension, hold it, little breath in, and then we're going to push down slowly. And again, let's see if we can do a few more of these. So it's a good idea to think about, as I've said in class, whether one side is stronger than the other. Maybe do a little bit of work on trying to balance them up. You've got that hold at the top. Remember, you're pushing down, trying to squash something. So we've added that little bit extra. And push down. So to stretch, we're going to come up with my legs all together. We've split the legs there and we've turned to the front leg. So we're coming down, abdomen towards that front thigh. Try to be level. So what people tend to do is this, but it's actually this elbow that needs to go down. So if you can't get it down, put both hands level, both shoulders level. You can get your elbows both down, that's fine, but don't just put one down. And relax, take a few breaths. Nice to stretch these, you often feel these the next day, so have a nice stretch here. So hold that, nice slow deep breaths. And then we're going to come up and we're going to change over to the other side. Turn to the leg, remember level shoulders, level elbows and come down over that leg. Well done.